It's gone back and forth, and make no mistake, I am not in this for weight loss. I have never been in this for weight loss or fat loss or anything. It's just kind of like the added bonus, at least for me. And it took me a long time to get there mentally, especially after having kids when your body's so different. But once I made that mental shift that I was like, all right, this isn't about getting my body back. This is about just like being in my body and being super strong to make my body last as long as it can, to be able to lift our kids who just keep getting heavier, right? The bigger they are, the heavier they are. They still want us to pick them up and carry them,
on the shoulders, on our back.
On our shoulders, on our backs. After the bath, like almost every night, they want me to lift them up and carry them. And I do that like...
Hey, welcome back to the Better Fitness Proof podcast. I'm your host, Lynn April, and joining me today is a very, very special guest of ours. It's not only the co-owner of BentOnBetter, but also my beautiful, lovely wife, and who happened to she started off as a member. So this is her story of the Better Fitness Proof of Lynn. So would you please introduce yourself to everyone and tell us who you are and a little bit about you?
So I am Lynn April. I'm Matt's wife, and I am co-owner of BentOnBetter. I am a mom of 2. This guy helped me do that. They are 4 and almost 6. So we've got our hands full and busy, and we're like always running after them. Yeah.
Good summary of our lives. Let's take it. Let's tell everybody. So first of all, right now, let's get them all hooked. Let's talk to me. So tell me about one of the biggest successes that you've seen more recently, maybe in the past week, maybe in the past month. Give me some of the biggest wins for you. Man.
Well, I joined the 500 Better Club, which was a big surprise to me. So like Matt said, I was a member first, which was kind of weird because it was always like, well, I'm Matt's wife, but I'm a member, so I'm a regular 5:30 a.m. a goer. Sometimes I come to the 9 a.m.
When did you start? When did you start coming though?
Oh gosh, when did I start coming? Technically, I was pregnant with Johnny. Is that when I started?
Yeah, well here, yes, but let's bring it all the way back to before this place was even in place.
All the way back. How far back?
You were way back when we first started doing the park workouts. You were an active participant.
I was an active participant. Were you with us?
In the park workouts with us? Yeah, at the East Ocean Park.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man.
If you weren't monitoring Joey, you were an active participant.
Those years are kind of a blur. Yeah, you're right. I guess I was a member technically a little bit maybe when I was pregnant with Joey. And then right after when I got cleared to work out again, so that summer, so 2016, I've been a member.
Yeah.
So
right?
weird
Isn't that weird to say, right? Because there wasn't really a membership at that time. It was just kind of like you would come to the workouts and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
But now, so we'll fast forward a little bit. So speaking of our facility and what people know to be BentOnBetter, how long have you been here?
So July 2018 was my official, when I came back from having our second child, Johnny. That was kind of my reset. Yeah. Prior to that, I was a member of the YMCA because I worked right next door to one, and it was really easy to go there. And
you were also here with at 8 months pregnant with Johnny, the big Johnny belly.
You're right. I came a couple times a week. There were pictures of you
and Ann and Barbara in the 5:30 a.m. when I was coaching.
Yeah, because we had a babysitter. For that. She would come in the morning and we would go, and then I would just leave and go to work.
Yeah,
twice a week I would come lift when I was pregnant. Yeah, man, see all this stuff
it's
kids
a blur,
ruin
right?
your brain.
So moving along, you're now part of the 500 Better Club, which is a huge testament to not only your journey but also to the commitment of what you've stuck to, right?
Yeah.
And that evolution, I think, is what we'd like to dive into for everyone else to see, because a lot of people reach out to us, and especially you. We're going to cover over what you do for a living, but a lot of people reach out and they're like, how do you stay so fit? Oh, it's probably because you're married to a trainer. And your answer...
Oh, that used to drive me nuts. It's like just being married to somebody means that you get osmosis. I don't know. And even also just being a trainer, just because you are a trainer doesn't mean that automatically like, oh, you're strong, you're fit. Like you have to put in the work, bro. Yeah. It's like, I say it's kind of hard to relate it, but it's like if you're married to a dentist, you automatically have like
nice
perfect teeth.
You know, right.
It's such a weird thing to say. And especially people that said to me when I was pregnant, like, oh, you'll get your body back because you're married to a personal trainer. Okay, well, first of all, don't get me started on that body back phrase. We could talk about that for hours.
We will talk about that.
But just you got to put in the work. So I've done my part. I did my 500, and I got this a few weeks ago. So I'm over 500 now.
Yeah, we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about what do you do. So tell everybody, like, what do you do for a living? What does your day-to-day look like? And how are you able to accomplish 500? Even though it may have taken you years to get there, years and things happen and things come up. So tell me about like what you do for a living and how that kind of tied in together with what you do. Okay.
So prior to what I do now, I graduated from Millersville University, which is where we met, with a biology degree. So I worked in an immunology lab for 11 and a half years.
A what lab?
An immunology lab.
What is that?
So we made, they still make them. Just because I'm not there, they still make them. Secondary antibodies for people who do microbiology research, non-diagnostic research, cancer research, things like that. So I worked in a lab for a really long time. So when Matt and I met, he's 3 years younger than me. So when I graduated from college, he still had 3 years of school left. And I was still living close to campus, so we would hang out a lot. But I needed something to like keep myself busy because my friends everyone was gone. Like I was just like living in Lancaster with this younger boyfriend. You were still great. And I needed something to keep me busy, so I took a cake decorating class and I learned how to bake from scratch. And it kind of like evolved into this cake decorating business in, I think it was 2010 or late 2010. Yeah. And basically like all of 2011 and 2012, that was like my side business.
What was it called?
Lucky Duck Cakes.
Lucky Duck Cakes,
yeah. So I did that.
How did you come up with the Lucky Duck Cakes? Like, what does that even mean?
Well, I kind of like outsourced or what do they call it? Crowdsourced and like asked my like Facebook, like, hey, Facebook, what should I name this? So I've always had like I collected ducks, like little yellow ducks, like ever since I was a kid. I don't really anymore, but like I'm still drawn to them.
Yeah, we still have a whole bunch of them at the house.
We do still have a whole bunch of them. The boys play with them a lot. Yeah. And also my maiden name, my maiden initials are LD, so it
made sense.
It had a little bit. The duck had a little. It's a cool logo.
It was a really cool logo. Yeah.
A little duck with a baker hat, and it says LD on it. So I did that, and that I took a break from that when we were wedding planning. So I stopped I put it on hold for like a couple months before wedding planning.
When was this? What year was this?
So that was 2013. I think I took a break in like March or April. Our wedding was in June, because I just didn't want to have to deal with that. And, and then once the wedding was over, I just kind of realized like, man, I don't like staying up until 10 o'clock at night, coming home from work, baking for other people and being on my feet all night. And, it was fun, but it got exhausting. And I got to the point where I had people who were like emailing me like, hey, can I come work for you? And I was like, oh no, this is too much. Like, this is just supposed to be something fun and all that. So I quit in like the summer of 2013. And then in April 2014, I started freshaprilflowers.com.
Oh, there's something before that, wasn't there?
What did I do?
Yeah. April, like the month blog.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the transition, right?
How do you remember all this
stuff?
Sorry,
I'll just tell Lynn's story for you. So it all started... No, I'm just...
So I did... So once I quit baking... No, it was January 2014 that I quit baking, and people were like, but what about your recipes? And I was like, okay, like I'll still share them. So I started, that's right, April, like the month, like blog. Yeah. And it was like about us, and I kind of shared recipes, but like not really. It was kind of like a Mod Podge. And then it sort of just like transformed into FreshAprilFlowers.com, and I kind of did away with the April like the month. And that was my place to share recipes for fun while I still had my job. You had a job. We didn't have kids. And that was kind of what I did on the weekends and the evenings, because you were working like evening hours, being a manny.
Yeah.
Even when you had your, when you worked that like desk job, like I still, that was like what we did in the evenings, was like unwind with like blogging and photographing, editing pictures. It was like really fun for me.
The BentOnBetter blog.
Yeah, the blog. Oh, man, we've done a lot of stuff.
That's how it all started.
We're very busy.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, like, listening to you tell the story, because I see the connecting lines, and like there are little bits and pieces that I think that just so much has happened that it's not it doesn't naturally come up in story for you anymore.
Yeah, because so much of it is like kind of forgotten.
Yeah, well, we were ships passing in the night for years of our lives until we had kids, and then even then with Joey, we were ships crossing in the night, because I would come in here early in the morning for training. You would be with Joey, and then I would leave here at 7, like 7:15, 7:25 at the latest, get back just in time for you. You would be in the car, and Joey would still be sleeping, be in the car. We would kiss like in the window, and you would pull away. And then I'd go inside and start my day of being a stay-at-home dad. And then in nap times, I would write blog posts and interview people. And it was just this thing that the evolution of it is so long gone and forgotten, that I think that we miss what the journey was like and how long it took to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward now to where is Fresh April Flowers? Where does that play role in your life right now?
All right. So after we had Johnny, so then we now had 2 kids. So we have a newborn and a toddler. For basically that first year of having 2 kids, I was blogging whenever I could, because, we got into a routine with Joey where I could do a lot of things with his help. And like, like we said, like some of this stuff is, I don't know how I did it. But then once we added a second kid, it was just so much. I was spending time, like I would put them to bed, and then I would write my blog posts. I remember distinctly doing a lot of blogging and photo editing while I was pumping, when Johnny was still nursing.
Yeah.
And I remember when he stopped nursing, I was like, oh crap. Like that was an hour of my day, because I would pump twice a day for half an hour. That was a whole hour of my like side job that I lost because he wasn't nursing anymore. And then that summer, so summer 2019, because he weaned himself in the spring of 2019. I was working on the weekends. I was working in the evenings, and like it was so much. I wasn't seeing the boys. Like they'd be playing outside, and I'd be like, hold on. Can someone watch them? I gotta go get something out of the oven. And like,
well, I think the important other part to make a note here to just illustrate a better story for people who are listening who don't know you, because this is a really cool journey. We're hearing about like the professional life of you, but also the fitness life of you, and this is why I love doing this.
When did I even work out?
Yeah, so right, you would do it early mornings, like 5:30 a.m. starting your day. You would leave from our house at 4:40 in the morning to go to the Y to do a spin class. And I think we should dive into that, but I want to finish this thought here.
Yeah, sorry.
You were in a place where you were having to build your blogging times around the daylight time and around times of nap times and around your nursing times and around your pumping times. You had to adjust everything, and you still were able to do it, because it's never about not having enough time. It's about finding the time to spend the time that you know you want to spend, or that you feel like you should be spending on something that's going to add more to your life, add more value, add more health, add more wisdom, add more resources, whatever it is to your life.
And that's exactly what that was. Like it was a decent side income for us. So it was never like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore.
It didn't start that way.
No, it didn't.
It wasn't until the first 4 years until you saw the first check.
Oh, excuse me. I started making money in the 6 months after I started that.
Let's keep it real though.
It was not that much.
It was like what?
I know. I made a few $100s.
Yeah.
It was
a big deal.
It was big. It was a big deal
still
for.
is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. yeah, so it was never something that I wanted to stop, and I loved doing it. And it was a great outlet for me to like my creative outlet, because I would go to my job and I loved my job, but it was scientific. It was very structured. I did my job. I never brought work home with me. So it was my thing that I got to work on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right. I would get up early, go to the gym, do my work, come home, be with the boys, put them to bed, and then work. More. Yeah. So in summer 2019, I was like, something's got to give. So we just kind of put it on paper. Like, what would it look like if I quit my job and continue to grow my business? And man, if that wasn't like the best decision that we've made for our family, and it's been super hard. Yeah. Because let's do some math here. I quit my job in October 2019, and then we all know what happened in March 2020. Dun, dun, dun. But like, we survived, we made it, we did it. It's all good. So now that is my full-time job. In the summer of 2020, actually, I came on as a trainer. I started our pre and postnatal program. So I still coach, I consider this like, yes, I'm a co-owner, but this isn't like my full-time job. My website, and I've stopped calling it a blog, because it is a website. It's a website. It is. That's my bread and butter. That brings me like my
the bread and butter.
That's my contribution to our family. And I help out with the gym as a co-owner, as a coach, as a member. I'm just here all the time.
All the time.
I'm here all the time. Every day.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, did I miss anything?
Well, I think it'd be cool to tell a new story now and kind of tying the fitness side of it together of you as an athlete, because that's the part that we've went over your professional life. Now let's go over the fitness and the athlete side of your life. So talk me through like high school, college, the elevator pitch version of it, and then tell me about what it was like after college and what you did for it, and then how we got to where you are now. Okay. So I started playing field hockey in 8th grade. And I played all through high school. I played at the collegiate level. And after college, I played in an adult league here and there, like indoor and outdoor, for a few years. I stopped right before our wedding because I didn't want to get hit in the face and have a bruise or like lose teeth. So I stopped probably like early 2013, I stopped playing. And then I never wanted to stop fitness because I always liked working out and having that athletic outlet. So I found spin class, which I did for a really long time, basically from 2013 until I stopped 2019, actually 2018. So for 5 years, I basically just like spun. That's all I did. How many days a week?
4 or 5. Yeah.
You had the shoes, you had the water bottle, you were dedicated.
I was.
You had the pants for it. You were in it.
I loved it. And I did it pregnant. I did it during both pregnancies. I did it all the way up until like I delivered. Yeah.
Here's the cool part though, is like, we always talk about this with fitness, is no matter what path you take in fitness, it's the consistency that matters. Mm-hmm. So for you found something that allowed for you to continue that path of fitness, with athletics being one thing, then evolving into the adult athletics, playing the adult league, and then realizing that wasn't going to be the right fit for your life at that time. So you shifted gears and went to spinning and cycling. And that was like that was your passion. And I remember having conversations with you like later in life.
I know where this is going.
This is like 2017, 2018, like when I had been like developing as a personal trainer and like been in it for a couple of years now. I'm like, you know what, you should really start incorporating more strength into your programs. Like you just spin all the time. Yeah. And your response was...
I don't remember what my response was, but it was definitely
I remember what it was.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it was like, I don't need to do strength training. Like I do a great workout for my lower body every day. Like I don't need it, and I don't need upper body like strength. Like I'm already strong enough up there. And being a very supportive spouse, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Do you want to just come one day with me?
But you know what? Do you remember that you wrote a program for me? And I would, I think I definitely dialed back my spinning and started incorporating lifting maybe like 1 or 2 days a week.
Yes, I remember this. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't stick with that because then once I got pregnant again, I was scared to lift
weights. Which is a real fear for a lot of women.
Yes, it is.
Women in general, but also women who are
pregnant
prenatal,
people.
Postnatal,
pregnant. Absolutely.
That
is
a
big fear.
Big fear. And so now let's bring it keep going. So what happened? What was the transition, and how did you get to where you are now?
So when I was pregnant with Johnny, I started lifting a little bit, and that's what Matt said. I was in here like super pregnant, lifting and still going to spin class. So I was kind of like doing that back and forth. And then after I had him, I just never really got back to going to spin class in the mornings. Like it just didn't work out great with our schedule. So I started coming here. So
I remember this part, if I can interject here.
Yeah.
I remember this because this was a conversation where I don't remember the exact ins and outs of it, but I recall it being something like, you really want to get back to spin. You love spin. It was easy for you. It was right next door. You could take a shower after you'd go.
Exactly.
And it was more convenient in terms of like what your lifestyle was like then. Mm-hmm. And so you were stuck in this mindset of like, this is what worked for me then. Mm-hmm. So I know so it should work for me continuing. Mm-hmm. And you try to make it work, and it just wouldn't quite click. And so I was like, hey, what if you just start coming to the gym the 2 days a week when we have a babysitter? When you come in and you train, and I'll coach, because I was the only coach at that time.
Yeah, right.
And I would do it all. And then you could go home and shower and get ready and then leave from there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think you even would leave from here and shower at the Y or something like that, and then like go there too a couple times.
I don't remember.
But you were trying to figure out a routine.
And it was just not working.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working. So I just kind of was like, well, let's just be done with the Y, and I'll become a B.O.B member, like full time, and like have not looked back. And incidentally, or coincidentally, I have not gotten on a spin bike since I was pregnant with Johnny.
So you haven't been doing cardio?
Nope, none. Not on purpose, anyway.
Okay, this is kind of a nice little, the part of the Better Fitness Proof spotlight of what we do.
Let's talk about it.
So what kind of progress have you seen, and how have you felt? And like, be honest with me, be completely real for the people who are watching and listening, who are thinking like, I do spin, Virl. I love spin. And like, so this isn't bashing spin.
No,
this isn't bashing
not at all.
Anything. We love, if something works for you, let me just be clear and speak to you at home. If you're listening to us on a podcast, you know what, actually, before I get into that, while you're here, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you swing by the YouTube channel if you're watching this, click the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and then comment below what kind of workouts or what kind of exercise programs do you follow right now, and what's working for you. Or vice versa, tell me what's not working. I want to get into a conversation here in the comment section. So comment, and I will get back to you, and Lynn may even respond, and maybe even the rest of the team will. And if you're listening to us on any podcast platform, when it's safe for you to do it, if you're driving, don't do it now. But make sure you give it a 5-star rating, because that's how this show can continue to thrive and help more people, by hearing and listening to these stories of real people leading real lives, and it's real, actual, better fitness proof. Mm-hmm. So check it out there. Leave a rating, and of course, leave a review if you think we deserve it. Leave a good review. Thank you. We do. But let me dive back into it. So, So the whole transition of you going from spin, we love Zumba, we love pound, we love CrossFit, we love all of this stuff, because whatever it takes for you to be successful in your fitness journey, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes for you to be successful, and you can continue to do it consistently, the consistency is what will allow you to be successful.
100%. So, so your question was, what have I gained?
Yeah, so tell me about what you've learned and what you've gained over the past, let's just say the past 4.5 years.
Okay.
Of shifting gears from spin to strength.
What I've learned is that I don't need to do cardio in order to be able to do cardio, right? So here are the times that I run. After children, when kids at the bus stop challenge me to runs, because that's happened. Like running around with the kids, like whether we're chasing them or just like, Mommy, run with me,
Yeah. Catch me
and eat me. That's one of our favorite games. I am still able to keep up with the cardio that I need to do, because remember, I'm not doing cardio on purpose. I'm not going out for runs. I'm not spinning. I'm not doing triathlon, all that stuff. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not playing field hockey anymore. So for my lifestyle, I don't need to be doing cardio. But what I am doing, which is heavy weightlifting, I am still able to hang at those times and do it with grace. And
so like, how do you know that you're doing so well with just doing lifting and not focusing on having cardio? Because everything that we've always been taught in fitness and in the fitness industry especially is that if you want to see weight loss, if you want to be healthy, if you want to check the box on all the different spots that allow for you to live a healthy life, a successful life, a fitness life, you need to have cardio. And like, we're talking not just like going for a run or steady state. We're talking like high intensity interval training, like HIIT training, and the things that make you sweat and huff and puff and feel all those different things. How are you able to still maintain such a level of success with your fitness and everything that you've accomplished? Well, tell me about, like, I know you played field hockey recently, so tell me how that went.
Yeah, so I participated in my alumni field hockey game. So
When was that?
Like a month ago.
Yeah, maybe? and when was the last time you played field hockey?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I graduated in 2008, but remember I played in an adult league for a while. So it was like 2012 that I played field hockey for the last time. So that would be the last time that I was doing like, intentional running and sprinting and, running, jogging.
Stuff where cardio would be important.
Absolutely.
Or at least we thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, I hung with college athletes like it was no big deal. So oddly
You've
enough,
been out of school for how many years?
Out of college?
Yeah, out of college.
14 years.
Okay, just want to get an idea
Yeah,
of like
so I'm
where we are.
36.
Okay.
So I'm 36. So the last time I played, I was 21.
Okay.
21 when I guess I was 22, but whatever. 21, 22. So I started. So we played a full hour, 15-minute quarters, full 11 aside. And I started. So I went in there like guns a-blazing, and 5 minutes in, I was like, oh my God, I need a sub. And I was like, oh crap, like, what have I done? Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I was so tired. I had that those heavy lungs, and I was like, oh my gosh. But my body felt good. I recovered real quick, and I went in maybe 10 minutes later, and I was fine for the rest of the game. And then afterwards, we talked about it, and I didn't warm up properly at all. I just basically went in there and started sprinting.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so once my body caught up, once my body caught up with my brain, I was fine.
And it's also, well, let's just be clear here on the scientific side of things. If you go from resting heart rate to extremely active heart rate,
Exactly.
Of course, everything's going to have to play catch up.
Exactly.
And so your blood pumping there, your lungs working, your heart, everything has to play catch up. And then it has to come back down because you went down to take a break because you were so high.
Yeah.
Way higher than your body was ready for. Because that's why we do warm-ups and progressive warm-ups, is that your body kind of can raise its temperature and can get the heart pumping in a different way, get the blood circulating in different ways. And then your everything kind of elevates together. That's why if you still, no matter what, if someone says to me, I just don't want to be out of breath when I go up and down the steps.
Yeah, you're going to be.
Always.
All the time,
unless you've
every
been,
time.
Unless you've been
Unless you
warming
warmed up to walk up the steps.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's not whether or not you're going to be out of breath. It's how quickly you can recover.
Exactly.
And that's what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. So I was able to recover and go back in. And once my body and my brain, once we were here, I was totally fine. Uh-huh. And
how'd you feel after?
I felt great afterwards. The next day I was a little bit sore.
Yeah.
Because I squat in here all the time, but I don't squat and run. Right. It's different. And I was cutting and sprinting and changing my speed and being in positions that my body hasn't been in for a long time. But aside from the bottoms of my feet were a little bit sore, and my the back of my hamstrings and the underside of my glutes. But other than that, man, I felt great.
Yeah.
I felt great.
And you looked great doing it.
Yeah, and Matt took video and pictures, and I've seen tons and tons of videos and pictures of me playing in high school and college, and he showed me some of these pictures and videos, and my jaw was like, oh my gosh, I look more athletic at 36 years old than I did as a collegiate level athlete.
Because what were you doing that time when you were an athlete?
Nothing. All I was doing was playing field hockey and running.
We
didn't lift weights. We did, but we didn't know what we were doing. We were using 10-pound dumbbells. Okay, I did my weightlifting.
That's all women should be doing. Is just lifting 10-pound dumbbells,
exactly.
5 and 10-pound dumbbells.
With your little.
So that way you don't get too bulky, so you don't slow down.
Yeah.
Right. I'm joking, by the way. Sarcasm, total sarcasm.
The other thing that I thought was interesting is that like I saw these pictures of me and I was like, wow, that looks like a lean, athletic person. Like, not that I have this like super like athletic physique, but I was like, wow, like I look like I'm someone who's in shape at 36 years old compared to what I looked like with 2 kids.
Yep.
What I looked like in college.
And it's important to note, right? So your journey and your story is unique to you, and not to say that like results are guaranteed if you come to work out and train here at BentOnBetter. But what you've prioritized is your consistency. You're here how often? How many days a week are you here? 3 or 4. 3 or 4. Yeah. Like 4 is like, wow, max out.
If I can 4 is like, oh man, I really had myself together this week.
But did you start at 4?
I definitely didn't.
I started
at 2.
Started at 2 days a week and built on that for a long time. That's like all you could manage.
Year.
That's all you could manage with your schedule, with your life, with your goals, with everything, right? And so your life allowed for you to do what you were doing, and you stayed consistent with that. Week by week, just staying consistent. And then you added another day. And then week by week, staying consistent, week by week. And then eventually you're like, I can add an additional day here from time to time when your body feels good, when the time allows for it. And that's the most important takeaway here in this journey, is that you prioritize strength training, yes, but you more importantly prioritize your consistency with a program that you knew would reflect and give a better return on the investment for that time, instead of doing spin, which is burning calories. Exercise, great for your cardio system, great for your cardiovascular system, great for your lungs, great for your blood pressure, great for your heart. Is it adding resilience to your body? Not quite the same level. Really. Not nearly as great as strength training with proper weights, with actual coaching, with a real regimented, professionally progressed and regressed strength training program. And so you did all those things. You allowed for your body to adapt and adjust over time with the consistency. And now you're at a point where you said the other day, your body fat's the lowest I think it's ever been. It's
gone back and forth. And make no mistake, I am not in this for weight loss. I have never been in this for weight loss or fat loss or anything. It's just kind of like the added bonus, at least for me. And it took me a long time to get there mentally. Especially after having kids when your body's so different. But once I made that mental shift that I was like, all right, this isn't about getting my body back. This is about just like being in my body and being super strong to make my body last as long as it can, to be able to lift our kids who just keep getting heavier, right? The bigger they are, the heavier they are. They still want us to pick them up and carry them,
on the shoulders, on our back.
On our shoulders, on our backs. After the bath, like almost every night they want me to lift them up and carry them. And I do that like
45 pounds and almost 25, 20, like almost 30 pounds.
He's so tiny. Yeah. But that's a lot of weight. And like I don't ever want to tell our kids, no, I can't do that.
We don't like that word.
We don't use that word. I have told them I'm not going to do that right now because I'm really sore, but I've never been like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not strong enough, because I'm super strong.
Yeah.
And they know it. And we've instilled in them, I think, a really healthy view of exercise. They don't associate it with punishing your body or needing to do it because of something you ate or whatever. They know it's to keep our bodies strong, to keep our bodies healthy, so that we can live a long time, so that we can do the things that we want to do, so that we can run fast, like things that make sense to kids. And like they understand it's just part of our life. Yeah. And we love it because of the things that it does for our bodies and our lifestyles.
Yeah. And you're, I want to make sure that we stay on topic here and also don't go past the time limit, but for you and your journey with fitness. And so let's just tell me about the story about why you decided to start the prenatal and postnatal program.
So when I was pregnant, I definitely had a different mindset than I do now. And when you're pregnant, there's it's very easy to kind of fall into this, I should be able to do what I've done before. And you'll hear from doctors, from medical professionals who their goal is to get you pregnant, keep you pregnant, take care of you while you're pregnant, take care of your baby, maybe take a little bit care of you after you've had a baby. They'll tell you, just do what you've always done. Listen to your body. All these things that kind of like, what does that mean?
They sound pretty generic.
yeah, it's very blanket statements and it doesn't answer any questions. So I found being here in this environment, I really saw a need for pregnant people and postpartum to understand how to do things in a safe way while still getting stronger and not just being like, oh, well, you're pregnant. Well, you can't do anything on your back. Oh, you've had a baby. Like just go right back into it. Well, what if you have a prolapse? What if you have a diastasis? What if you leak when you do things? What if you can't jump? What if you can't run and you want to do those things? How do you get back to doing those things properly? And how do you get back to doing them safely too? Because your body is the only body that you have. Like pregnancy is so short, and it's just this really short time in your life, and you don't have to. It doesn't need to be a time where you need to prove something to yourself or to anybody else that you can do something, and like you're this superhero because you're pregnant and also doing these other things. Because side note, when you're pregnant or carrying a child, your body is already doing a freaking amazing thing. So like you don't need to prove anything to anybody about how amazing you are, because that in itself is just a feat. So that's kind of where that stemmed from. And it's kind of cool that it's kind of leaked into some of our regular adult members, because I've learned a lot about breathing and, pelvic floor muscles, which everybody has. And a healthy pelvic floor can lead to an overall healthy core. And we know how important the core is to global strength. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I think you hit on a couple of really good points there that I wanted to highlight before we moved on. So one was that the fact that, doctors and medical professionals and people all want the best for you is to keep you healthy and baby healthy. Like that is their primary goal. And then it's after pregnancy where it's kind of like you're left hanging in the wind to try to figure things out. And so most people revert back to, again, we think about what we knew, what we were, what we used to do, or what we could be based on what we were. And it's not, and unfortunately we get so intertangled and mixed up in those thoughts that most women who come and talk to me, they're like, I had a baby 9 months ago and I'm just tired of being how I feel and feeling how I feel, and I just want to get back to where I was. I want to lose the weight. I want to lose the baby weight. I hear that a lot. Lose the baby weight, and
guess what? You lose the baby weight when the baby comes out.
Yeah, and then after that, I think there's always missed in a lot of women who we've worked with and who have come through our experience and working with us, even just asking questions. So many women feel like they're not enough and they need to get back to something that they were before kids. And what they don't realize is you just spent the past 9 months, maybe more in your journey. Like us, we went through years of fertility treatments before we had Joey. Mm-hmm. And we went through years of so much stuff that you put yourself through. And I didn't even do it. It was you. I was just there I was there to support you. Yeah. But you did it with the injections and the medications and the wear and tear on your body and the stress that he puts on your life. So all of this stuff leading up to the pregnancy and then the actual pregnancy and the birth of, or the having the children and the child, all these different things that leads up to you forgetting that your body just went through so much trauma. And building a life, building a human person, and then birthing or having a child.
It exits your body.
It exits your body in some
however
way,
it gets out, right? It comes out.
And then you feel like these women feel like they have this, like you have to be back to where you were, as if like you were nothing going forward. You are only what you were, and it's completely different for you. I see it so differently. You are stronger, more beautiful, and so many other amazing things that I feel about you after having children. But it's because I know what we've gone through. I understand this all and I support this, but you did it yourself. And your biggest success in your life, I think, is not just having children and having the blog and everything, is giving yourself the permission to take your time with your fitness and get back into it slowly. Absolutely. And know that it wasn't a weight loss journey. It was the weight loss and the fat loss is, like you said, the byproduct of the journey. And that's the biggest takeaway. It was a journey, and it still is.
I always say that I hate that phrase, like, get my body back, get my body back. Guess what? It's never going back to what it was. And whether it's for better or worse, right? Like you have now built and birthed in whatever way you did a human. Like there's no, your body's never going to be the same ever. And that I think was the hardest thing for me, was kind of like living in those baby years where I was like, well, I know we want to have another one. And like, I know I'm going to like mess my body up again. So do I actually want to get strong, or do I just kind of want to like hang in limbo and like be this like baby factory? And that's not a very healthy like headspace to be in. But I really noticed a change after we were like done having kids. Like we know we're done. We've made sure that we're done doing that. Like you kind of like mentally move on from it. And ever since then, my strength has just skyrocketed. Like it was like, you know, like I guess I gotta go this way. I got stronger. And then like I had Johnny, and I like kind of got, you know, and down here. And then after I decided like, we're done having kids, my body is for me now. Like I'm going to do what I want. Exponential growth in my strength.
And that growth happened over a long period of time. And you had
3 years.
And you went and you took the higher route, and you went to a pelvic floor physical therapist. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Teresa. At the pelvic room.
Yeah. So yeah, I did get exponentially stronger. Mm-hmm. And then I learned about my pelvic floor, and I got even stronger.
Yep.
Because I found this muscle in my body that was kind of holding me back from like being able to get stronger. And ever since then, man, I have just gotten really strong. Really strong. Yeah.
Like how much did you deadlift?
Oh man.
What did you do the last PR week?
The last PR week.
What was your best ever one?
245.
245 a deadlift. And you weigh, if you don't mind me asking, I know it's not polite to
ask,
but how much do you weigh? How much do you weigh?
Like 130, 140, let's just say
that. Even if you're at like 135, 140 at the most.
That's like almost double my body weight.
Yeah.
Right?
But you're gonna get big and bulky if you lift heavy weight, aren't you?
I mean, do I look big and bulky? I mean, I know I have wide hips.
No, you know what? I think you are sexier now than you have been in ever, because I think strength training has transformed your body in a way that never did. And like, I always thought you looked darn good, but like now it's like, So look, I think this is about time that we just wrap it up. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about what you would say to the mom who is listening right now, whether it's a soon-to-be mom, a brand new mom, or a mom who's been a mom for 40 years, who is now at a place in her life where she's listened to this podcast and feels a certain way. So I want you to think about what you would say. And in the meantime, while you're still hanging out with us, if you haven't already done so, and maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're done driving, make sure you're giving a 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to it. Give it a 5-star rating, and then leave a review too if you have the opportunity to do it, because it's going to help us change more lives by selling more stories to inspire more people to change their lives. And if you're watching on YouTube, again, go down to the comment section and leave me a comment about what you're going through. If you're a mom or a grandmom, or if you're thinking about being a parent, mom or dad, I want to hear from you, but specifically the moms. We want to hear from you and comment below about what you're going through, what challenges you've gone through or overcome, or you're overcoming right now. And then, of course, hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up on this one. But I'm going to swing it back to Lynn to wrap it up here on this note.
Man, what would I say? Whew, so many things. First of all, give yourself some grace, especially when it comes to time. Like, it's taken me quite some time to get to where I am. And I never really had a deadline. And I think that so many people are like, oh, by the time my kid is 1, I want to be back to, whatever, like my pre-pregnancy weight or whatever. And like, maybe that's not realistic. Maybe it is, but most of the time it's not. So give yourself grace to just learn your new body, really. Like, learn about it, find a coach that cares about you learning about it, and who can help you through the challenges that you're gonna run into. Because I've worked with a lot of women postpartum who have found, I have not worked with someone postpartum who has not run into a challenge that they've kind of said some iteration of, well, I could do this before I had kids. Well, guess what? You're older. Your body has been through some things. Like, let's figure out what this new journey looks like, whether it's something that's completely different than what you did before, whether it's the same, it's just different, whether it's better, whether it's worse, it doesn't matter. Find something that you can be consistent with, that works for you and your lifestyle and your family's schedule and all that stuff, that makes you happy and makes you feel good, whatever it is. We hope it's weightlifting though, because we really love it.
Yeah. Safe, prehab focused.
Yes.
Prehab, and that's a made up word, but we know it's real though. It's real here. Prehab focused fitness and strength training.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us on the Better Fitness Proof podcast. Again, if you haven't already done so, give it a thumbs up, give it a 5-star review, all those good things, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.